Hello, I'm Drac Attack, and this is Plus Profile number 47. A Plus Profile is where I take someone interested in the upcoming MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and we find out a little bit more about them. Today we have Sechari. I first met Sechari when I learned about the Disparate Worlds podcast. Him and Mox do a great job of comparing and contrasting Pantheon Rise of the Fallen with Ashes of Creation, so you should definitely go check that out. But for now, let's learn a little bit more about Sechari. Onward and upward.
What will your name be for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
Hi, my name is Sechari, and it will be Sechari, I sure hope, assuming it's available. And somebody does not steal it from me. You know how that goes. I'm always aware that trolls exist in the world, and you just never know. So, Sechari will be my name, assuming I can get it.
What race class combination are you going to play for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
Okay, so I have been... I've had a growing interest lately in tanking. I didn't used to be a tank. I used to be a caster, a very thorough caster. You know, if it wasn't heals, it was going to be, you know, some kind of a mage-related discipline. Lately, I have been doing a lot of tanking. I've been enjoying it. So just before this, went through the roster again, just to make sure I knew what I was talking about. That's good in what we do, right? I looked. It looks to me like the one that appeals to me the most is going to be a Paladin, right? And I know Pantheon does some restrictions with regard to your race and your class. So I was okay. I've got pretty much a human, and I've got dwarf to choose from, right? So I think that right now, yeah. So I'm probably going to be a human paladin, I think, is the end of it. I'm enjoying tanking. I'm having a blast with it. I would probably try to go elf if I had a choice, but the closest I can find for that combo is probably human. So that'll be the one.
What feature are you currently most looking forward to in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
By far the races. So I have seen, you know, other games that do the standard, you know, you elves, dwarves, as we've been discussing, right? Humans, etc. You know, some halflings is okay. You'll find them here and there. I really like the Archai, the Dark Mirror, right? The Scar. Those to me are novel, and it's not just the design of the races as here's a new look, right? Here's a new character model. There's the lore and the history and the religion, all of that. I mean, we did at some point in Disparate Worlds, we did an expose video just going over the races, just to explore it for ourselves and share what we thought about it. And the races are incredible. So that by far is my favorite feature.
How did you hear about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I have to pin that on Mox's. I had absolutely no idea, right? Mox goes back to EQ, right? EverQuest as an old Brad McQuaid fan. I mean, right from early days, and has been looking forward to Pantheon for a long time as kind of like the latest iteration of that legacy of games. He and I came into Disparate Worlds from different angles. I was the Ashes of Creation guy. Sorry, guys. You know, that was the one I was looking forward to, and he was looking forward to Pantheon. And as we came together to try to win each other over into our separate worlds so that we could create content about it, we just thought, hey, let's just start a show about both and compare and contrast and enjoy the journey. So definitely it was Mox that was the one to blame, and I have been won over pretty distinctly since by the community. The fact that Joppa has, you know, showed up. I think when we had maybe 50 followers, somewhere there, like it was definitely below 100. You know, followers on YouTube. Joppa was already there to do an interview with us, which I think is incredible. That kind of attention. And then the community has been great too. You know, hanging out with you guys in Pantheon Plus. You know, Basgrim, all of these separate communities that are fan communities at Pantheon. It's been cool to get to know you guys, and that's really the reason I'm staying. So.
Do you have a guild for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen?
I don't, and I was hoping to be a friend of you Pantheon Plus folks, and then you might have a space for a little Sechari tag along. Certainly, I'm going to be on Mox's coattails. Wherever he ends up, I'm probably going to end up guilding up there, so we'll figure it out.
What is your favorite MMORPG that is not Pantheon, and what did you like about it most?
I would say Star Wars Galaxies. That was the first MMO that I've ever played. May she rest in peace. And don't even get me started about all of Star Wars Galaxy stuff. I know there's a lot of people that feel this way, right? You're refugees many years later. Galaxies had by far the coolest crafting system I have ever experienced in any MMO, and it was more than the gathering as well, right? The way that you would go out into the wilderness and ping and search for what you would find, and then you would have to follow it to the place where that resource was found the strongest, and then you'd set up harvesters there, and then you could get offline and come back and check the hoppers of your harvesters. I thought that was novel. I've never seen that in any MMO since. And then, being able to grab all of these things. I remember I went Ranger as one of, of my, you could multi-class kind of a thing and swap, between them in that MMO. I was able to go Ranger and Bioengineer. And the Bioengineer is all about creating these monsters, right? Chemogilas and Rancors and all of those Star Wars, monsters that exist. So I remember I would use my Ranger to be invisible on Dathomir, and I would run up to Rancors and poke them in the butt with a sampler, and then get their DNA, and then I'd scurry back to my lab, and then would begin to tinker with all of these. I think it's like a creature engineer in a way, kind of like a bioengineer, I guess was the name. But that was what I did. I was able to come up with all kinds of cool creatures, so thoroughly enjoyed it.
What is your best MMORPG story?
Definitely goes back to Galaxies. I've done Star Wars Old Republic quite extensively since. Can you tell there's a Star Wars kind of theme going on with me? Big fan. But definitely, I think being able to run around on Dathomir undetected was by far the greatest. It was solo. Getting behind enemy lines was fun as well. Just being undetected. That in that game was Ranger that would basically pull it off. But any kind of spy type stuff I used to enjoy. Getting hunted by bounty hunters as well. That was a blast. A lot of good times in that game.
Do you like PvP better or PvE better?
This is a good question for me. No matter what it is, I would say both, as long as they're grouped. I tend PvP one-on-one scares me because it's how to get myself killed over and over again, right? Gank me silly. I like the idea of grouping because there's a little more safety in numbers, and then going out and going group against group. The larger, the better, right? As far as PvP is concerned, open world for sure. PvE, no matter what, I enjoy the grouping aspect of things. So I really enjoy dungeons. I enjoy larger group. In Star Wars, we call them operations, but raids, right? I thoroughly enjoy that. The group dynamic where you all have to perform your own way and get it right and do it the right way and be in the right place and not stand in stupid and all of those different things that we like to say in order to make it work. So I like grouping, and I think PvP, PvE is kind of a little bit more irrelevant, right? As long as we're enjoying each other in the group. So,
are you main for life or are you an altaholic? Definitely
between the two of these. I think I tend more toward the main for life if there's a spectrum. Because I do like to try some things, but only really what I want to try, and it's never everything that's out there. I've got a couple, 3 things, just looking at things, I'm like, I'd like to play that race, or I'd like to play that class. Maybe 2 or 3 of them of what's out there that appeal to me. Those are the ones I want to go for. And so maybe 2 or 3 alts is about what I do. But between those 2 or 3, I play them extensively, right? So it's kind of like having 3 mains, I think, in a little way, but one of them may be the primary one that I'll work with. So that would be my answer there.
Do you like crafting? And if so, which kind?
Oh, yes. I love to do crafting. I tend to do it less than I would like. I always am behind having to catch up. And so I do, what gets me into the action. Now it's leveling, right, as new MMOs are launching. But armor crafting is my chosen choice. I love, and that goes back to my Star Wars Galaxies days as well. Armor was difficult. And I love to try to be one of the very few, the handful in the server that was really good at armor. And so armor crafting has always been a love of mine. And the more difficult it is in an MMO, the better, right? I want to strive for that pinnacle, that very elusive, maybe 2 or 3 manage to get there kind of a thing. So armor's my pick.
What is your favorite gaming food and or drink?
Ye olde Hot Pockets, does that count? Right, everybody loves the Hot Pockets. You know, if you don't, that's like the gamer go-to. But Cheetos, I would say I really like Cheetos. The problem with Cheetos is that I get the dust on my fingers, and then I'm like, okay, do I these 3 fingers are my W, A, S, and D, and I don't want those are my serious keys. I don't want to mess those up. So the dust is always a challenge.
What is your favorite piece of gaming hardware?
I don't have expensive gear. I pretend to put it all into microphones and things, right? Streaming equipment. As far as the gear, probably my mouse. I've got one of those 12-sided, and it's got a shift button on it, so you can actually, it's 24 different buttons if you count them all up. MMORPG mouse. That is by far my best friend. The only problem is mapping to the keyboard what I want on it, right? Because sometimes you'll click a button and that is, I've done Control Alt Shift P. Well, Alt P or something is something in the game, and then I find my character's doing something, and so finding those unique combinations to map to it is challenging.
Do you have any gaming profile or social media links you'd like to share?
Sure, I do. Twitch, you can find me there, twitch.tv/Sechari, if you ever care to drop by and say hello. I'm not a huge channel. It's just me and a few friends that hang out sometimes. And a lot of times it's me talking to myself, but it is what it is, right? So drop by, see me on Twitch if you'd like to come say hi. DisparateWorlds.org is a big one for us as well. And the Disparate Worlds are, my talk show with Marks, where we cover Ashes of Creation and Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. You can find us on YouTube there. Just find our channel. Easy to search for Disparate Worlds and for me to give you the string of characters that is required right now to go find us.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
I would like to say, those of you who are dabbling with New World right now, jump in. Come find me. How about I say that? We're still, the decision's still largely in the air as to quite where we're going to be playing with regard to servers. Right now, it's kind of tending toward Breedablick is the. I'm not even going to try to spell it for you. But we're trying to figure that out. There's some server transfer issues coming our way. But pending all of that shaking out, if you would love to come to play with us while we're waiting for Pantheon, come find us. I would love to have you join us.
When do you think Pantheon Rise of the Fallen will release? Month, day, year?
I wonder if you have a pool go. We should start a pool. I'm gonna ballpark at August of 2024, which gives me a little less than 3 years right now. So we're coming up on Alpha 1, right? Is there multiple alphas planned for Pantheon? Okay, so we're coming up on that. I mean, they're making good progress, right? They're going to learn from that. There's going to probably be another alpha. Then they're going to learn from that. I give it 3 years probably to get through that. And then a generation of content as well. So I think it's going to take some time. But man, I would love for it to be sooner.
I really hope you've enjoyed this Plus profile. If you would like to see more Pantheon content, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pantheon Plus. I stream Monday nights at midnight Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the MMORPG Classes 101, and anytime there's a Pantheon dev stream, we immediately follow that with Pantheon Plus U, where you, the community, get to come in and voice your opinion about the most recent dev stream. This is Drac Attack. Have a great day. Onward and upward.